right. Welcome back to Coffee with Specks and Bryce. I almost was about to say featuring Bryce the Prince Gaming, but it's Coffee with Specks and Bryce. I'm not used to the name change. Specs, how you doing?
It's hot. I want it to be less hot. I want it to be less hot. And you're coming.
I think to 106 degrees in Salt Lake this weekend.
We're getting in the high 90s this weekend. We'll be flirting with the triple digits.
Yeah, you don't even know heat right now. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I've been in 100 and 110 plus. I've been 120 if I'm in Arizona, and I don't buy that whole like it's a dry heat. It's not that bad. It could be a moist heat. When it's hot, it's hot. When the underside of your nipples are sweating, like when you get the swamp ass and the under moob sweat going, like it's hot. There is no like extra threshold. It's just you're just damp.
Yeah, our weather person, she today was like the record for the upcoming tomorrow, which as of the day we're recording this, for this Saturday and Sunday is 104, and she's like, and we are going to break that record. She didn't say, and it looks like we might break that record. It was like, we're going to break that record because I think it was like one day it's supposed to be 10. It's projected to be like 106, and the next day it's projected to be 107. And the record is 104 for each of those days, and it's like the likelihood we don't hit those temperatures isn't very high.
So, I mean, it happens. That's the summer.
Yeah, so the records are meant to be broken, right? I mean, that's
depends on who you talk to.
Yeah, that's what Arson Judge says.
I mean, depends on what you say, right?
Well, we'll get into this when we get to the Ohtani bit, but I still don't understand how John Heyman still has a career after the whole Arson Judge.
Oh well,
after the whole Arson Judge debacle.
He blocked me on Twitter because I said his Ohtani reports were white noise.
Yeah, well,
I really hope he was like, white noise this, as he blocked me. I hope he said something really cheesy because I hurt his ego.
Yeah, he's soft from what it seems like.
Oh, he's incredibly soft.
And it's just like he's made so many mistakes in his career, and yet people still are like, yeah, we'll go to him for baseball analysis. And
they go to him for baseball analysis because his source is Scott Boras. That's really it. They just want like everyone's aware that it's like he gets his words from Scott Boras.
Which makes how he got the Arson Judge thing
horribly wrong.
All the more confusing.
Is it weird to think? I don't think he necessarily got it wrong. I think
you think Boris agreed to a deal, and then
I think they had a deal.
He told Heyman, and then Judge was like, "Wait, actually, I'm not sure."
I think so, because generally it doesn't get to that point where this isn't the NBA where it's like, well, I shouldn't say that. Boris will sort of be like, oh, he's getting close with the Giants, and kind of do like a last call, sort of as they call it, where it's like, you try to get like a little extra money from someone. But I think in that scenario, I think he did have the deal in place. And probably what you said, like Aaron was like, wait a minute. Can we try the Yankees one more time? That's what I think. Because there's no way you make that. You don't make that big of a mistake without somebody.
I also wonder though knowing. If it was a matter of he was wanting to get the information first, and he got a text. He got a text from Boris. Maybe it was like a series of texts, and he got a text from Boris that said we have a deal with the Giants, and then he immediately tweeted out Arson Judge signing with the Giants, and then next text he got was
and the Yankees.
But we are also still working on some final details of the Yankees, and he might be signing with them. And then it was like,
probably. I think when he says like there was a deal, I think there was a deal because I don't remember what was I don't remember who offered him more money offhand.
I think he actually turned down more money to play.
Yeah, I think so. Let me see. Let's see.
I was so happy when that happened too, when it looked like he was going to San Francisco.
So it looks like the Giants offered Judge 9 years, $360 before the Yankees did. But in the end, it was the Yankees. Was always going to be the Yankees. Yeah, he wanted to remain. So, Aaron Judge. So back then, and on the 7th,
9 years, 360. Oh, he still got 9 years, 360.
he got 9 years, 60. Judge flew to San Diego at the last minute to decide among 3 teams: the Yankees, the Padres, and the Giants. The Yankees bumped their offer to 9 years, 360. In the end, decided Judge wanted to be a Yankee. I can ask this sort of question now. I wondered if they threw in "will make you captain," and that was like a deciding factor.
Yeah, and then this season has been kind of a disastrous for him with the injury and everything, and then the rest of the team is showing, hey, we can't play either, and the Angels are like,
it's so
we'll
weird.
sleep your butts.
What's so weird, and I hilariously I seem to write about things on Monday. Like I'm in a weird, like all Angel beat writers, I'm assuming across the border, and dumb spots. Oh my God, Zachary Neto! Sorry, I'm watching the game live, and Zach Neto just holy crap!
I
Zach Neto! Oh my God, sir!
I didn't have my thing set to live.
Holy crap! oh my word! Zach Neto, that ball had a family.
Hold on, let me watch it.
Oh my God!
Oh, you heard that off the bat.
That 305 swagger coming in hard. My God.
Okay, we'll get to this, but one of the things I do want to talk about is if people talk about like how the Angels are going to be set back if they lose Ohtani. I don't
no
think
one's saying that.
Look at no. Lots of people are like, if we let Ohtani go, that's going to set us back years.
See, this is what I mean. They're like, I guess I can't really include myself in the realm of like Fletcher and Blum and Brett, whatever his name is from MLB. I can't really I'm not really in that realm, I guess. But I will say it's difficult to write right now because, and you kind of saw it with Sam Blum's article today, where it's very much like all of us are aware of like what'll get us clicks, and it's the word Ohtani and trade. But the problem is,
no. But that's why like all the stuff is like, I'm still not even 100% sure. The most I'm sure of is the Angels will hear an offer about Ohtani.
I think they'll listen, but I think this is gonna sound. I know we were gonna probably talk about this more at length in the back end, but the thing
and we will.
The thing I that's noticeable in like, because right now for whatever it's John Morosi, we're doing a lot of this reporting. The funny, and I think this is true. I think
should we title this whole episode "Did the Angels trade Ohtani?"
I'm probably going to, honestly.
And then just watch it get a bunch of views and have people be like, what are they talking about with all this video game nonsense? And
because here what's funny is like, and I kind of agree with it, is if Ohtani's traded, it's going to be on the 1st, and that's why like we're all kind of like just sort of counting down the games basically, and like, all right, after this one it's 9, it's 8, it's 7. Because right now they're in a stretch right now, and on Monday it'll be 3, where it'll be 3 against the Pirates, 3 against the Tigers. They have to go at least 5, and I would say 5-1, 4-2 again to be in a better spot, like a more solidified buyer spot. Because right now, even sweeping the Yankees, it's sort of like, all right, we're better.
Yeah.
But we need more.
I honestly think the Angels wind up being by. Let's just move all the Angels stuff up to the top. So if anybody's listening, they can listen to all this off the top.
My gut is they'll add. I don't think they're going to. I don't anticipate a sell.
If they are within 5 games of the wild card, they will buy, and they will buy heavy.
I don't think they're gonna buy heavy either.
You don't think they're gonna like sell
my gut
trade a bunch of pieces to get some?
You don't have any. The biggest commodity you had was Joe Adell, and he's hurt. So my my guess right now is funny enough, I wrote about this today, it came out Friday, was right now it's like there's real no clear on what they're gonna do, because we're not really hearing, we're only hearing one side. Holy crap, Taylor Ward got that one. Oh, right.
For that.
Jesus.
Yeah, and that's something to be said, is the Angels offense has been okay. And actually that series against the Yankees, their pitching started to hold it together. I will say, look, the Angels are a couple bad pitching performances in that Astros series from having gone 6-0 in that 6-game stretch between the Astros and the Yankees. Now, I know that's a lot to say because that was some really terrible pitching, but like, if a couple things had just swung the Angels' way, we'd be sitting here talking about like, oh man, the Angels are only 3 games out on, Astros.
Well, funny enough, you can argue they should have been 5-1 because they should have won Sunday, but due to like poor managing, I'm not gonna do the whole like, well, Davinsky was lying about an injury. No, it was that loss is on Phil Nevin. He could have said, screw it, I'm going for the win, but he didn't.
Yeah, well,
but it really just comes down to they have to just punish the teams that are doing bad. Is what they have to do, just to like force the hand, because you're not going to get any sort of luxury from anyone else. But I don't think, like, if you're saying like, oh, they're going to trade for Lucas Giolito, no, I don't see that happening. If my money's on right now is like a Scott Barlow type, because their bullpen is horrid. Like,
that's what I meant by buy heavy, is get something to really make it so that way they can.
I'm guessing, like I said, I think if they go, my guy I'm sort of looking at is like Scott Barlow, like a right-handed back end guy who can lock it down at the back end of the pen. That's probably who I'm looking at. Like that's the biggest piece in my mind right now, but I don't know a whole lot of relievers that are like available at the moment. Would I like them to get a starter? Sure, but right, honestly, the best fit I thought was Bieber, but Bieber's basically done for the year with the forearm thing that usually leads to Tommy John. So he's probably out. Do you want to go after someone like Flaherty? I guess really you could go after someone like Stroman. I don't think they do. But I would say like 2 bullpen guys and a starter is probably what you'll see. And they're not going to be like A-tier guys. I don't see that. I'm seeing more like your BC guys, honestly. Yeah. But again, it's gonna be one of those things. Ask me again in a week.
Yeah. Well,
see what I write on the 27th. That'll give you a better indication.
Well, and here's what I will say is I feel like the Angels, whatever Perry decides to do, will be a good decision more than likely.
Probably,
because Perry has shown to be a top of the line front office person.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Your thing in your Spects on Sports.
What of it?
I was gonna say about it is Nevin Perry's guy. I don't think he is.
My entire point behind that was more of it. What if the answer is really the simple thing of Madden wasn't listening to Perry, Nevin will. That was the crux of my argument. Is it that simple? And everyone else was like, I don't think it's like that. There's no way. And it's like I think,
I don't know. I think if Perry had the guy he really wanted, he'd have a guy who would be good at the same things. I mean, I think Perry wants a guy who is really good with the analytics.
The only coach
like on his own.
The only manager who's like that right now is in San Francisco.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. So, but that's what I'm saying is I think if Perry had his way and he could find someone that he could mold into that, or if he could find someone that is kind of an up and coming sort of thing, that's what he'd go for. Somebody who's already in the mind of really going after the analytics, and then
I think because here's what scares me. What scares me is they move Montgomery into that spot, and I don't want Montgomery in that spot. I'm not a fan of Montgomery. He's a lifelong scout. He's a front office guy. I don't even like him in the dugout, to be frank with you. That guy, I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. Sure. But it's one of those, at this point, it's like, well, who would you even really look at?
The only reason I just don't think that it's so much that Nevin, I think he's okay with Nevin. I don't agree with it. But I think it's one of the few things I wouldn't see eye to eye on with him on. But I think if he had his way, he would put somebody else in there. I think he would probably, if he had his way, he'd put somebody like a Benji Gill.
I would hope, because I think at this point the best coach they have is Benji Gill on that, like in that dugout is Benji Gill. I don't think I don't, like I said, I don't trust Montgomery as far as I can throw him.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting.
But let me ask you that here's the crux of that. And if you watched it, I don't think I made a very good point on. I don't think if I did say, I don't recall. Is Nevin playing it close to the chest because he knows he'll never get another shot? That's what I think it comes down to. I think Nevin's going to play it way close to the chest because he knows he ain't going to get another call.
You don't think he'll get another call?
No. He's not.
I don't know about that.
Look at his line of work.
I don't say that because I like Nevin. I don't.
But I'm saying, look at his line of work.
I'm not saying, but
is he going to win a Team World Series?
No.
There you go.
And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, does he get another manager position?
No.
I think he could.
I don't think
on a winning roster. On a winning roster, no.
Yeah, if he wants to be the guy who only manages the A's.
Let's say the A's manager's like, okay, hey, I got hired here or whatever, and the A's are like, look, we still got to rebuild for a few more years.
Let's bring in Phil,
who's a player's coach.
We don't even know what kind of coach Phil is, though. No one knows.
He has the reputation of being a player's manager, so he doesn't go in for this interview.
Based on what? No. I'm asking based on what?
League, that's what.
I haven't heard
on every time.
I haven't heard anything on him. I've heard nothing on him.
Every time I hear ESPN, when I watched the game on ESPN the other night, and whenever the guys on the Angels broadcast talk about him,
you think Phil Cone,
the players love? That's what they say about Nevin.
No, hold on. You think Yankee Homer and Yankees announcer Phil Cone is gonna speak ill of former Yankees third base coach Phil Nevin? Get real.
No, but that's what I'm saying. They are saying
they're not going to tell you the truth.
Who has the
it doesn't matter what. I don't care what David Cone thinks. David Cone's not going to talk.
All he has to do, all Nevin. I don't agree with that assessment. I'm not saying Phil Nevin is a player's coach.
But what I'm saying is of course David Cone's like, Phil Nevin's a rah guy and totally knows what he's doing. Dog, we all saw that Yankees Red Sox thing. That dude don't know dick.
No, look, I agree. I agree with you on the assessment that he definitely is not a player's coach. I honestly do wonder if the part of the reason that there's been a little bit of a spark since the All-Star break is Benji Gill and some of those coaches have finally started to like Nevin's letting them have more of a voice in the clubhouse.
Did I ever? I don't think I did. Do you know what? I mean, this is a couple days old, but you know what their record with Zach Neto in the lineup is?
Is it really good?
35-26. Without him, 14-22.
Yeah. I mean, so there was somebody who posted, I can't remember who it was, but somebody posted, I think it was one of the other podcast Twitter pages. They posted something to the effect of they were talking to somebody had talked to Nito's mom, and she said something to the effect of that somebody had told her that they needed to go.
Yeah, I saw that. It was beyond the Halo. It was beyond the Halo. Yeah. It was beyond the Halo, and Zach Neto said, "Hold my beer," and I'm like, this kid's got the dog in him. Dog, pull Ohtani. Is he still in there? We need to pull Ohtani. You need to pull Ohtani now. He don't have it. Pull him. His hand is bothering him.
I would let him face one more pitcher if he's willing to.
I said,
or not one pitcher. I would let him continue to try to face batters.
I was saying pulling him in the fifth.
If one more run gets
I said
scored,
pull him. I said pull him in the fourth. I'm like,
the only reason is if he gets to do the sixth inning. It's funny. We're giving commentary on something that by the time people listen to this is already happened.
These high fastballs. I'm telling you, his hand's not. I mean, I guess that's a better pitch, but shouldn't be getting a slugging fight with the Pittsburgh Pirates. God, stop throwing it up there. What are you saying?
The good news is that we got a 3-run lead. So, and this isn't the Astros. I don't think they're going to score in bunches. So if he can get through the sixth, that would at least allow the bullpen to not suddenly get taxed like it was against the Astros.
I know. If you can kind of like bulldog your way through it, fine. Because that's part of the problem. I don't know. I think in terms of fans here, it's like, damn, his ERA is going to be high, but it's like it's the microcosm, and it's kind of rough.
Well, and if you were to ask Ohtani right now, I'm sure he'd say, yes, I want to stay in.
No, I know.
That's the kind of competitor. He doesn't care about his stats. He doesn't care about the awards. He just cares
He wants that win, and I know
most. Win. He wants to be.
I know most pitchers. I know
valuable. They're getting somebody up in the bullpen.
And I know most guys. I know most guys would just be like, I just want to win. I don't really care what it takes. Just I want to win.
So, well, he's got 2 quick outs. So,
but
so ultimately with Ohtani, I mentioned this as if just before we decided to talk about this. The funny thing is I've had people on Twitter go, well, if the Angels let Ohtani, if they don't trade him, they're going to let him go for nothing. And it's like, first of all, yeah, that's assuming if they don't sign him. They don't sign, or if they aren't able to sign him in free agency, yeah, they've let him go for nothing. It sucks. Or like you can make that argument, but like,
well, the outside perspective.
I tweeted at somebody. I was like, well, I mean, it wouldn't be for nothing. It would be for a second round.
But the outside perspective is this, and even I get it. I get it a lot, not a lot, but I get it. I get it a fair amount of like the perspective outside, and and I think this is why you sort of saw, if you read Sam Blum's article, it pissed Jake off, but I'm like, no, I go, unfortunately, this is what we're dealing with, that if we're covering the team, this is the stuff we have to deal with, is this notion of there's the understanding as in Orange County that, hey, he's probably not going anywhere. They'd have to have the collapse they'd have to lose, they'd have to get swept. They'd have to. Honestly, it was looking like they were going to get rid of him by the way they were playing early, but now it's sort of looking like, oh, they're going to buy. But the problem is where we are, we're kind of like we're sitting, kind of just waiting. Nationally, outside of it, there's this notion of, he has to be traded. Why? Well, they have to get something because he's not coming back. And there's been no real indication one way or the other. Like in my group, it's if they kept, someone said, if they kept him, it'd be like the Rockies not trading Trevor Story. And I'm like, that's a completely different scenario. The Rockies literally trade away Arenado that winter and then held on to Trevor Story for whatever reason. They were clearly headed in that rebuild direction. The Angels aren't headed in that rebuild direction. That's not a fair comp. There is no comp.
That's part of what I was going to say is and so people in that same vein were saying, they were saying, So as I was saying, the funny thing is I've also seen on Twitter some of those guys saying, if the Angels don't trade Ohtani and they fail to sign him, they're setting themselves back this so many years. They're not going to be able to win a championship. You saw, I think it was A-Rod during the All-Star game was like, if the Angels trade Ohtani, they will be World Series champions in 5 years.
I brought that up too.
But it's like,
funny enough.
How do you expect that to happen? Well, you'll get the best prospects. It's like,
well,
you're assuming all these prospects will pan out. We're already getting prospects who are panning out. Like, and no, so that you can. Sorry, I'll let me finish my thought really quick. The Angels right now have such a good young core that when people say they're setting themselves back, I'm like, look, yeah, would it suck to lose Ohtani? Would that be a blow? Sure, there's no doubt. But Neto is looking like he's gonna be I honestly think. Maybe it's too early and too bold to predict this, but I honestly think Neto could be one of those names where in 5 years you're like, wow, the Angels landed another big. He is one of the premier shortstops in the league. Yeah. Is what I think is what he's going to turn into. Moniak, it looks like he is now starting to look everything like what you'd want the can't miss
first round pick in the
draft, and it's like. If these guys continue to develop the way they're developing, and Cabbage is his early stuff, obviously it's too early to really make any sort of call on what we think he's gonna be. But if he continues down the path he is currently on, he could easily be just another one of those pickups where you're like, oh my gosh, this team is stacked with young talent. And by the way, Cabbage, it's a funny story. I don't know if you remember. I think it was in the game against Houston. I think where Velasquez pinch ran for is the game where the Angels came back from
that wild Saturday game.
And Velasquez pinch ran for Cabbage, and went from first to home on Ohtani or somebody hit him in.
Yeah,
and I didn't realize that Velasquez had. I think I had looked away, and I didn't realize Velasquez had pinch ran for Cabbage, and so the whole time as I'm watching this play, I'm going, "Go Cabbage, go! Go Cabbage, go! Go Cabbage, go! Go Cabbage, go!" And then
that was a weird.
I'm like, it was Velasquez who scored.
That was a really odd move because it's not like Cabbage is exactly a bad base runner.
Cabbage is fast and a good base runner. I don't think Velasquez has that much speed on him, if any.
I wonder, and because we were, well, I was wondering this. I'm like, are they trying to keep Velasquez at like he's a Nevin guy because they were at the Yankees together and he's one of those like Nevin guys. Because I know when they sent Fletch down, I'm like. Fletcher's better than Velasquez. Like, unless you're sort of like, oh, well, he's a better defender. It's like.
I think either way, you're not getting anything from the bat.
I'm like,
right?
But you're not. I guess that had been the logic. Well, the funny thing was I think the Halo Bros posted what was on their Locked On account. And I think I read it where they were like defensively, they're about the same. So it must have been really like, well, Velasquez can steal a base. And it's like, all right, okay. I can't argue that. But
yeah.
So to answer, two-part answer to that question. In 5 years, the Royals did it in 5 years. The Royals traded away Zach Greinke in 2010 and I tweeted about it. What my tweet? But where'd it go? I tweeted about. I made the comment about it. Uh, doodly doo. Maybe they get Royals Greinke and shortstop Yuniesky Betancourt to the Brewers for Alcides Escobar, Lorenzo Cain, and pitchers Jimmy Jeffries and Odorizzi. 5 years later, they win the World Series. It can happen fast, but a lot of that main hilariously too. I was talking to Soccer about this because she was sort of like, well, what are the Royals going to do at the deadline? I'm like, sell, because you guys have nothing and probably going to get nothing. But the timing with that deal was they had Hosmer, Moose, and Perez sort of like either there or on the cusp already. So like adding Escobar and Kane to that fold wasn't we're just going to bolster sort of what they were doing. It wasn't. You weren't. It just added that like core that was coming up at the same time, and that's really what happened. Is the core they had came up the same time, so they could kind of ride it out, and it happened. It got to the it took really 4 years. Well, actually, no, it took shorter than that. It took 3 because in 2013 was sort of like the year it's like, next year they could get it, and then they got it, and then they got they won it all in 2015. So really for them, that turnaround was quick. But it involved them selling off Zach Greinke and then having all this draft capital to trade for, like they traded for James Shields. They traded for Johnny Cueto to replace James Shields when he left. So this stuff can turn around quick, but you have to have like the right thing. Now on the flip side, with what you were the young thing you were talking about. So hilariously, one of Jake's strong suits is sort of leadership. He understands that he's really big on it. So I asked him, I said, okay, you're the leadership guy. What do you think sort of like what do you think about like this? And he made the comment like, okay, he's like Nato's young, Moniak's young. And then he brought up an Ohapa. He's like those 3 guys. He's like, right now with the culture, if they're kind of like indulging this winning culture, then yeah, they can. A young guy like Nito, he can kind of like step into like a more vocal leadership role as it goes. He's like, are they right now? Probably not. But kind of what you were saying, like that building block is still there with these guys.
I honestly think Nito honestly could be one of the if not the face of the franchise, he could be like a huge clubhouse voice.
I think he could probably be if Trout.
He has that demeanor of like
he has that 305.
We're gonna win, guys. We're awesome.
I call it the 305 swag because he is from Miami. Like he wears that, and they're sort of. I think I only know this because like of the Dan Le Batard show and how like they're like like heat culture guys. Like there is that permutation when it with Miami where it's very much sort of like the 305 sort of like mantra, and he has it like with the U, which I like. And then
we've got Moniak
hit number 5 against lefty. Sorry,
we've been, but as we've been saying, like it's we talked about Moniak I think last week, and how like amazing it is that they picked him up. That is one of the steals of the century because
I was on now that. I was wrote about it a month ago. I deserve a ribbon.
But he is seriously looking like. That was the trade with Syndergaard, wasn't it? That picked up Moniak.
I think so. I don't know. I think it was in my mind. It's one.
It was Syndergaard for Moniak and somebody else, and then it was
in my brain. It's,
and then it was
in my brain. It's Moniak. It was Moniak. It was Moniak and Ohtani for Syndergaard and Syndergaard, Marsh and Syndergaard. Yeah. That's how it is in my brain. Because it was 2 separate deals, but in my head that's what it was.
Well, and I mean, look, if Ohtani comes back,
and
starts to do what he was doing before he left, this team like really could be completely stacked.
I think
you could honestly see Ohtani going, I like the way this team's looking.
Well, that's why I'm wondering when it comes down to like a lot of like, because like I said, weirdly enough, the local guys are quiet except when it comes to like someone saying something outlandish. Then they sort of go, that wasn't said. But all of them are quiet, and that's where I get a lot of my info from is these guys. And when they're quiet, it means I'm quiet. So it's just like, okay, what do you guys know like that we don't? I mean, I realistically, what stopped me from calling? Because I have like, like, you know, I can just be like, hey, I'm with blank. Is there anything? Can I talk to someone in PR just for a comment? I could probably get one.
You gotta find your connections, and then
I don't really need
the new guy. Where you're like source Angels.
I'm not a newsbreaker.
Such
I'm not a newsbreaker. Two, I'm sure as shit not a newsbreaker where I'm at currently. That's not me.
No, yeah, and it would be funny for somebody to be. What would be funny is if you did figure out a way to become a newsbreaker and you were doing it for Last Word on Sports. And like,
could you imagine?
Who is this guy?
I would be. They wouldn't be able to afford me because of how their pay structures. I would run them dry if that were the case. If I actually broke news, and the funny part is they've told us. I don't want to say it, but they've told us like we're not newsbreakers, and I'm like, well. Well, what happens when I get something? I mean, not that I'm going to. If I had news to break, I think I would break it just on Twitter. And just be like, and just wait. And wait for someone to ask me like where I got it from.
I mean, there is this account, and it's obviously he's wrong. It's definitely. Have you seen the Renhefo Burner account?
No.
There's a Twitter account called Renhefo Burner.
Oh God!
And it's constantly posting source Ohtani blah 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 blah.
I know there's that
Angels trade. One of the ones recently that I was like, it caught me off guard because I thought it was real for a second, but then I like looked at it. And I was like, oh,
isn't it that MLB?
He said Renfro
to their Diamondbacks. Is it this MLB insider William Fredrickson? That guy? Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, I don't understand what this is. I don't. He's been quiet. Like before, it was the whole joke of like, where was it? Or he's like, I don't understand what he's doing. Like he says a lot of weird stuff.
I think he's supposed to be a troll account, but he doesn't come across 100% as a troll account.
I think what he's trying to do is I think he's sort of trying to be like a Beyond the Halo, with like a Perry the Pirate twist to it. Or it's like, I guess if he's like we need, you know, I don't even know what the hell Beyond the Halo is, like the weird analytics guy who tries to find like nothing at something and nothing.
Yeah. So, but no, really though, I honestly like Angels lost that series against the Astros, and even then I wasn't like completely. The only thing I was ready to say after that series was that we needed to get rid of Phil Nevin.
Yeah,
and that was it. That was like the one thing I honestly was like, there's a lot to be said for this series, like. So, just watch the Angels right before the deadline because they're going on a hot streak. Ohtani signs with the Angels, 10 years, $600 million.
Well, I know someone's making the comment like they should, if they had it here, they should announce it Thursday when like no one, like they could just announce it. And I'm like, if there's a deal, I don't know. I wonder. I keep saying like a lot of like hyperbole, but I kind of wonder if Perry and Artie basically told Ohtani, look, we don't know what you're going to do, but give us a year. And with this team, and what we want to do, let's sort of see where we're at. Because I'm going to tell you right now, as moments of his frustration were in that Houston series, he sure as hell ain't playing like he wants out.
Yeah. Yeah. it's hard to know for sure, but I mean, like, well, I say it's hard to know. If you look at Twitter, they've all decided he wants to win, and he's
Well, that's been their
dog.
that's been their excuse the whole time, is that he wants to win. He's not doing Anaheim, but it's only been the last since he got the MVP that they've sort of had these thoughts. Prior to that, it was, oh, he's a bust. He ain't doing anything. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh crap, when they put it together, he can do it.
Yeah.
So it's almost, I don't even know. I think there are people nationally who are sort of coming around to the idea of like, maybe he doesn't leave.
It's hard to know for sure. And I mean, like, the odds makers do put the Angels, what, I think second to the Dodgers. Which is,
well, I've made the argument.
Thought.
I've made the argument a lot where I'm like, why would he go to the Dodgers?
Well, no, I know. I think he goes either stays in LA or he goes to Seattle.
Well, here's my thing, and I haven't asked
the Angels.
I haven't asked any Dodger fans this. I think they'd laugh in my face because they wouldn't see the irony of it. But why would he go to the Dodgers when he'd be in the same position he is with the Angels? Two aging superstars and Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, and a pitching staff that can't stay healthy.
Yeah,
it'd be the same situation. The only difference is like Mookie and Rendon and Mookie and Freeman don't get hurt. But how many more years of that are you really going to get, especially from someone like Freeman?
Yeah, no,
like
yeah.
I like, honestly, like, as much as they're like, oh, he'll be a Dodger, it's like, but it's the same. He'd be in the same spot. It'd just be like he'd have to be the pitcher because Urias isn't really doing a whole lot. Kershaw's going to be off injured, even if he does decide to like do a last ride again. And then what do you got behind him? Not really a whole lot. So to me, it's like it's just a more expensive Angels because they're in a flux right now.
Watch your language. I'm just kidding.
Flux.
No, I know. I was making a joke.
No, that's what I was like. I'm like, what? Oh, I guess.
So no, and I mean, here's my thing, and I think this is my last real thought on Ohtani for right now. Obviously, as we get closer to the trade deadline.
Well, you're not going to be here for that when it's actually going to get, you know, an actual. When we be actually any closer, so we have to have that. Maybe prior.
Yeah, maybe day of. Maybe we just do a special episode
day
where like I just get on my phone on my where at my parents' house and I'm just like,
the
trade deadline is passed.
I don't expect him to, but could you use your dad's? Wait, you have your laptop, don't you?
I can bring my laptop, and if I think about it enough, I could like set up a microphone and everything. And
I think your dad's got.
Or I could even just bring my headset.
Bring your headset. It's fine. Just bring your headset and your webcam. That's what I did, and it worked. You saw it worked out okay. But maybe, yeah, because I say what you're gonna say. That day's gonna be busy as hell.
My last thought is there's a lot of people that are so sure on this is what's gonna happen. The Angels need to trade him, or this is what's gonna happen. He's definitely not signing with the Angels. I honestly think that the waters are so much more murky than what is being reported. And then I've thought this. I've been lockstep. I've been in lockstep with you the whole time.
Yeah. I don't know if you read what I write, but I literally wrote that today.
I think the waters are so murky that it scares the crap out of the national guys, because normally they have these sources who are saying, yeah, Judge, oh my gosh, he's thinking now, right now, he's thinking maybe the Giants. Oh my gosh, this could be a crazy time. And it's like you have these guys, but with Shohei, you don't have this agent who's sitting there gabbing with
that
reporters.
We know. Well, that we know
don't
of.
Have who doesn't have a history of gabbing with reporters, and you just don't have like people around him. You know, a lot of people normally a lot of these national guys would get a word from, you know, maybe like a Mickey Moniak or somebody random in the clubhouse, where it's like, but even like the guys in the clubhouse are reporting,
we don't know.
We've never really known much with Shohei, like ever. He's always been kind of reserved into himself, and I think that scares the ever living crap out of these national guys because they're paid to be able to give you the most accurate word on the biggest free agents. And they aren't able to get it, and so they're just throwing what they think out there.
Like I said, right? Like right now, your biggest your biggest guy right now for like information is John Morosi. And here's what's funny, like 51 minutes ago, Ohtani has allowed 13 runs over his last 3 starts, the most for him in any three start stretch this season. Which is like whatever. But you're sort of looking, and I'm trying to like find it because you sort of seen this like, well, here, okay, this is what this is even crazier. It's like so this was this morning. As Shohei Ohtani prepares to pitch tonight, look at the wild card standings. Based on what sources tell me, if the Angels can pass by the Yankees and Red Sox for August 1, expect Ohtani to finish the year in an Angels uniform. Right now, they're 5 out, and there's no real reason to assume that they're going to. But what's funny is the day prior, you're getting sources. The Angels are not close to a decision whether to trade Ohtani. They're likely to wait until the final 24 to 40 hours for the August 1st deadline. Teams continue to contact the Angels and express interest in Ohtani because why wouldn't they? And then this goes back to his first initial tweet that even I wrote about. That was, I gotta find the initial quote where it's like they're in listening mode. And this is, I think, right before like they got back. Yeah, sources say that now. This is on the 15th. The Angels are now in listening mode with Shohei Ohtani Quade injuries. Sources say, as reported on MLB Network segments, suitors must be prepared to offer multiple 100 type prospects to begin the conversation. So I read that backwards. Going forwards, it sort of seems like it went from this like, oh, they're listening, to a couple days ago, it won't be until the very end, and now it's, well, if they jump it, they're not gonna move him. So you've sort of seen this narrowing of the funnel where it went from, oh, it's a possibility, to maybe not, to it might not even be likely.
Yeah, no. I think the Angels are like, yo, so what do you want to offer us for?
Well, I'm a big proponent of there's no harm in listening.
Well, and I think their idea is like they're looking to hope that if things just completely collapse and they're way too far out at the trade deadline,
they can salvage.
That they can make teams like wait right up until that day, and then they'll freak out.
Well, yeah, the desperate, yeah, see if we can get a desperation haul. Yeah,
and I think if the Angels do trade him, it's because they got a desperation haul and they were too far out on their own, and so they got a desperation haul that was like a crazy amount.
Yeah, that's where I see it. Like when he says, like, I think the truest statement was that, like, I think it's closer to 24, but like, yeah, if they were to trade in, be either the 31st, the 30th, or whatever, the 30th or the 31st or the 1st. I want to say there's only 30 days, right? Right.
Until 30 days until what?
Oh, 30. So I'm saying I assume it's going to be on the 31st or the 1st. I don't think it's going to be anything before then.
Oh, yeah. July has 31 days.
Because the only thing that's why these games are more, I would say these 6 games are more important, is because you go to Toronto and August 1, you play the Braves. So if last week was stressful, this week's gonna be even more stressful. And
good luck. Oh, by the way, keep talking. I gotta go really quickly again with Kimmy. Hold on.
I'm gonna
keep
be
talking.
I'm gonna
this
be.
time we won't pause. You just keep talking.
I'm gonna be an absolute ball of stress. Between now and then, to be frank, especially when I don't know what the heck's going on. For those of you following along, keeping track at home, generally the trade deadline doesn't really get moving and grooving. Usually around when it was the 31st, it would usually be around the 28th. Now, as team with a bigger wild card and stuff, that's been pushed back to more so like a late 29th to an early like 31st. But a lot of the stuff happens on the 1st because that's when you're sort of aware. If you remember last year, Juan Soto was dealt on the 1st. And that was a big move. That's why a lot of guys who are more in tune with this stuff think that's why they think, oh, Ohtani won't be dealt until the 1st because there's no reason really to move him. And plus, if you're in a situation kind of like I just said, where he's giving up 13 runs, he's damaged goods. You don't want him to pitch. The blister. I don't know if they'll squeeze one more start. They might against Toronto. That might be, if they are out of it, that'll be like the final audition for him as a pitcher. I don't foresee that being the case, but I would say keep an eye on it. So this could be, if things were to fall apart, his last start in Angel Uniform at home tonight, his last start as an Angel probably in Toronto.
Yeah, well, I mean, and you know Artie's going to get as much value out of him as he possibly can up until he has to trade him, assuming he does.
Well, but I mean, that's just how. But that's just how it would go, because at this point, like I said, if you're another team, are you really going to be like, well, he's getting up 13 runs in 3 starts, but a lot of that's like the finger.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But he can still hit.
So. No, and I mean, like, and I mean, I do think that there's definitely something to be said for, you know, for a possibility that they say, sorry, I'm trying to gather my thought, that they look at him and they say, you know, we may stand a better chance of signing Ohtani if we have him already in the clubhouse.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
Diego, don't you say, well, couldn't we possibly get Ohtani if we just trade for him now and then try to say, hey, look, we traded for you. We cared enough. You. Pieces there. We want to make sure that this team is built around you.
Yeah, but he has that already.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so if you're another team, don't you feel like that at least gives you the leg up?
I guess. If there's one to be had.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, maybe he loses, and I shouldn't say maybe, he almost definitely loses some of his value from the injury and from.
Well, he doesn't have to pitch. That's if they want to be like, we don't want you to pitch, we just want you to hit. And okay, I mean that could happen.
Get your blister better. We've got pitchers that are good enough.
That
like
could be.
Like let's say San Diego.
That could happen.
We've got pitchers who are doing really well.
That could happen.
We don't need you to pitch right now. We just need you to DH.
That could happen.
Go and knock.
Essentially,
the ball.
Be essentially like, hey, we're eyeballing him as a pitcher. We're gonna just hit him right now and let his hand get better. I don't know what the likelihood of that is, but that is a possibility.
So, but
it could be crafty enough.
Then you're thinking, well, then we have him in the future, sort of thing. So
maybe. Who knows?
Like we said, I don't think there's a lot that we can know for sure until.
Trust me, there isn't.
So until the deadline's over, we don't know what's going to happen, and then after
things won't.
As Angels fans, we're going to be if we don't trade him, we're going to be scared out of our minds. If we do trade him, we're going to be scared out of our minds.
I'm not going to feel any better until a week from Monday at 3. Truthfully, because I'm gonna There's just too much.
Trust me, when I was in college and I was doing my reporting stuff, it's a hassle to meet those deadlines.
Well, I don't even have
Especially when it's a turnaround of like an hour.
I don't necessarily have a turnaround. I think if I just that's truthfully that's like the biggest fear with you guys being out is like my biggest fear is, oh shit, the Angels traded for Giolito. I'm not home. I'm not near my computer. I gotta go.
I'm gonna be in town. I'm gonna be in.
No, I know. No, I know that. No, I know, but it's like, but my whole thing. But I know, but that could
be over by the time we.
No, I know, but it's just sort of like one of those bits where it's like, if it's like, you know, like, because there's multiple of you being out there, it's just like.
Set up a lunch with one of us, and then it's going to be like Ohtani traded to the.
Hey, I'm gonna have my laptop out.
Red Sox. Ohtani traded to the Red Sox. That'd be awkward.
No, if it came down to, because usually there's like murmurs and stuff. Usually, if like what I could do is if there were like, it sort of seemed like it's heading that direction, I could realistically set something up to where all I have to do is. Tweak because I do it in Google Docs. I could write up a skeleton, and then right before I, like, if that were to happen, I could skeleton something, and then if I were caught with my pants down, just be like, hey, give me like an hour. Like, it'd have to be like, give me 30 minutes, and then I can kind of like throw something together. Because the whole thing is, if I had to cover it, the luxury is I don't have to like necessarily like write like a full-fledged article on it. It's just like, hey, here are the details. Here's what it means. All right, we're good.
You know, and you know what you could do?
Because I could do an MLB trade.
You know what you could do? This week, even. You could even start doing it this weekend. Write 2 articles. One that says the Angels have traded Ohtani, and then like write your thoughts on like, oh my gosh, maybe like leave like
some ambiguity,
leave like a little element where it says like, write thoughts on him going to the Mariners here, sort of.
Yeah,
thing.
what I'm probably
the Mariners roster nicely or whatever.
I think
the Angels were able to receive.
That's what I have to do. Is like, it's just gonna be like Angels trade Ohtani. I'm probably. I'm
like the Angels decided it was time to reset, sort of thing, and then that way you already have something kind of.
I'm gonna have to
partially written out, so that way all you have to do is flesh out. He was traded to the Mariners for this.
Because the
Angels decided this. And,
so behind the curtain, probably going out Monday is going to be enough. Like after the series, it's going to be like, it's going to sort of be like a week out. Here's what we know, and just be like, if he's traded, it's going to be to X, Y, and Z more likely than not, and then end it with, or he goes nowhere and stays, and just be like, that's like the likely option. Because right now people do want to know, like, want to hear like, where could he be going to, and it's like, well, here's what could happen. So that's probably what we'll do. But is there anything else?
No matter what happens, and even if the Angels make the playoffs this year, if the Angels make the playoffs and Ohtani resigns, I guarantee you we will still get people who go, the Angels are wasting the prime of 2 of the greatest players in the history of baseball.
It's just an easy cop out.
It's just one of those things.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to add before we call it a day here?
No. I mean, we had other things that we were going to talk about, but most of them, I think we can just kind of
back burner,
push it back. Maybe do it for another week, and even if it's in a week or 2. So yeah. Like I said, the Angels. I think ultimately, if I had to predict anything, Angels stand pat. And it'll partially because I think they truly believe Ohtani will re-sign with them at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And should the Angels be, I don't even think the Angels necessarily have to make the playoffs completely. They just have to look like a competent team.
Yeah, and they do. And with guys,
they do right now, but it like obviously things could blow up, and it could be like, okay, what is this team?
It kind of already did.
what I'm saying like is if you have more of that,
Yeah, I know.
as you get into the end of the year, that could derail everything.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So Bryce will be gone next week. We'll have a guest in next week for him since he'll be out here or driving out here. So yeah,
and then maybe the week fall or even during that week
we might have
do
something.
a trade deadline thing where we're actually together
Maybe.
and we're like, oh my gosh, this is what happened. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy couple of weeks, so stay tuned. All that being said, you'll see Bryce in 2 weeks from Monday. You'll see me next Monday. So have fun. Catch him. Hopefully he would have been live so you can say hi to him. And if not, he'll be live again probably in a couple weeks if you missed that stream.
I actually was thinking about it today. I do miss being live.
I don't.
Now that I got my green screen set up behind me. Yeah, this is not a studio. This is just
it's no longer a padded cell.
But no, it's definitely a much more interesting looking background than my
white wall. All right. So we'll see you. You'll see me next week. You'll see Bryce in a couple of weeks. Like I said, he should be back to streaming somewhat soon because I don't. But yeah, so we'll see you guys all then. Until then, my name is Specs. That's Bryce, and we'll see you guys all in the next one. Have a good one, guys.
Bye, guys.